Hey, everybody. We're back. WKRP in Montrose. We've got a great guest. We just finished having a conversation that you guys didn't get to hear. We got to figure out whether or not we want to do this or not. Whether we... No, I'm not putting it up on the screen.
I want it on the screen.
It's not going up on the screen.
Ridiculous.
Because we already had a moment. We're not going to have another Cousin Curtis Take Two episode.
Well, that depends if you mess it up.
The computer already crashed. We got started. We're off to a good start. We're not going to mess with things while they're working.
All right, continue
Rob.
the intro.
Okay. I forgot where I was at now. You interrupted me right in the middle.
Start again. Take two.
Hey, everybody. This is Rob's world, and you're just living in it. It's WKRP in Montrose. Bruce's world. Do you want to tell people what we were arguing about?
The name of the Incredible Hulk's alter ego.
Okay, so
Dennis
you're not going to... No, you're not going to...
Dennis thinks it's Bruce Banner.
Because
his
it
real
is.
name is Robert. Dr. Robert
You just
Banner.
you got rid of an entire opportunity for other people to participate.
Don't care.
All right.
I'm right, you're wrong.
We don't know that. You looked it up on your phone. Didn't show it to anybody.
You have a phone. I mean, all right.
Google is wildly relatable.
Yeah.
Reliable.
Will you introduce our guest since you never...
No,
No,
It's
I'm not. We'll do a standstill. I promise you.
You have two jobs.
No.
Introduce the guest.
Push the buttons.
And push the buttons and then mess it up and then restart the computer and then push the buttons again.
I know why you want me to introduce Nick. Look at him smiling. Look at him smiling.
You know what? He doesn't.
I do.
But
I know.
I immediately thought to myself, okay, I can imagine what he's thinking.
Yeah.
I can see the little hamster wheel in your head
Turning
going around. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. So go ahead.
because he's not going to be able to pronounce your surname probably.
Correct. So either you're doing it or Nick's doing it. I'm just going to sit here and wait.
How about this? It was a new thing. We'll let the guests introduce themselves.
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having
Hi,
me.
Nick.
I'm not embarrassed to say I don't. I feel like if I said your last name out loud, I would say it wrong.
That's okay. Everyone does.
Okay.
Even though it's
It's as
Sarah-
it's
it's
spelled.
fairly
Yeah.
phonetic-ish. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So it's Paulus.
Okay.
Nick Paullus.
Yeah.
Nicholas, if you will.
You know what?
Even though it's
here's
that
the deal.
simple, he would've
It's
messed
a
that up.
no-win situation for me.
Absolutely.
Because if I just go out and I say it wrong, he calls me, a muppet
press the button.
for doing it wrong.
Well, a muppet. But
Okay, he
also-
calls me
But admitting weakness is not...
right.
Can you hear that? Can you hear
No,
that?
I
in your
can hear
headphones?
that.
Well, I have to maybe turn it up just a little bit.
Yeah, we can
No, it's
press-
up all the way.
press it
I
again,
think.
one more time.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Potato.
Now,
Why he likes
now
that
you've
so much?
heard that. Look at Dennis and tell me if you put a fake mustache and glasses on him, he doesn't look like Mr. Potato Head.
Ooh. No.
Yeah.
Not the nose.
Wearing a
Oh
wearing a
yeah,
Rathbone
thanks,
hat. Hey,
thanks, Nick.
absolutely.
Hey,
Appreciate
absolutely.
you're covering up the R of Rathbone on that hat.
that. Oh, I am. Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know
There
if
we
they,
go. That's
they-
better.
I don't know if they paid for this privilege.
No.
All right.
In spritz.
Maybe they liked it. Yes.
Okay, but so somebody does pay for the privilege. Do you want to say hello? You were the worst co-host ever. You were there you go. Just pick it up and
No, this is our kind of our beer partner, beer sponsor, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, Pomona.
Pomona Brewing. It must be everyone's. It seems like it's everyone's favorite. Every time I go there, the place is jammed.
It's lovely.
I can't say that there's
lovely.
anything that I don't like about the beer.
No.
And even the beers that I don't like, I still like.
And I like that they have a small barrel system. So
Yeah.
if I don't like something, it disappears really quickly.
Yeah.
That's true. Comes back up. Okay, Nick Paullus.
Yay.
It's a pleasure to have you on the really nice couch over there.
It's lovely. It's super comfy.
So Rob was asking, do we know each other?
We do.
And we do.
In fact.
And so he was asking me, did I know how talented you were? So maybe we should share all the talents that you have.
Just reel 'em.
We
Go.
don't have
Go.
that much time.
We're not
share
talking
everything.
about Rob. We're not talking about you. That would be like a maybe one sentence list.
So Nick, here's a good one.
Okay.
Dennis, I'm going to teach you something.
Hey Nick, we're not going to talk to you at all because
No,
Rob's
no.
got stuff to say.
Please. I'm here to watch.
Nick is a Renaissance man.
Say it again.
Exactly. I know you have trouble with long words.
Renaissance.
That too, if you like. Only one of us is European, of course. But yeah, no. Let's go with your
Nick, I didn't realize
you
you're.
left.
Let's go with
You
your.
guys
Let's go with
left.
your
You're not part
pronunciation.
anymore.
Yeah.
We're still part of the continent, geographically.
You're not on the continent. You're off the continent.
We're
Okay.
part of the continent.
Okay. Deal.
So we're going to talk about the fact that you're an author.
Yes, please.
And you've written a book.
I have, in fact.
And I got it totally wrong, what I thought it was about. And I think, hold on, maybe because you do some stuff on Instagram too.
Yeah.
And I do follow you on Instagram.
Yep.
And you had done kind of a series
Totally.
of fungus.
Yep.
Like edible fungus.
All sorts of foraging things. So
Yes, foraging is a better word.
Yep,
There we go.
Absolutely.
Okay, so one of your many talents is,
Yes.
is an author, is an expert forager.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing
Yeah.
it a long time.
Yeah.
I hazard to say an expert.
Yeah.
Because anyone can make mistakes, but I'm diligent in I do it a lot.
Dedicated.
Everywhere
as
I
well.
walk. Everywhere I walk.
Yeah.
Everywhere I walk.
Your
Front yard is fair game. Most
Oh, really?
certainly. Most certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is the rule if it hangs over the property or
No.
no?
No such rule.
And if you don't
I
get-
think it's neglected by you,
Yeah.
I'll treat it as it's meant to be
There you
treated.
go.
For sure.
And if you don't get caught, is it a crime?
Well, but 'tis the season, right? This is the season of foraging.
This is the season of foraging. Yes, it's the beginning. We had that little monsoon, so there was some early mushrooms, and
Right.
this is kind of fruit and greens and that sort of stuff. But yeah, most definitely, I'm at it a lot right now.
Yeah. I remember we went out. I say foraging together. I went with you. Do you remember that time when
I
you
do.
were picking Russian olive
Yep, I do.
to make your own bitters, right?
And we got currants on that little walk.
Yeah.
about.
And this
Yep.
was just down at River Bottom. I mean, if you know what to look for,
If you're with somebody that knows what to
stuff-
look for.
yeah, stuff is everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, absolutely.
Tell us.
Well, you're also. I'm just going to say it this way. Are you an aviary expert?
Oh yeah, I like birds.
You like birds, but you had lots of chickens for a while.
I do. I
Or still
always
do?
have a flock of chickens for the
Okay.
last almost 10 years, like 8 years. I ran a feed store where we hatched babies, and that was when I caught the bug for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So are you? Are you an egg person in the morning?
I am. My family variably so. So I eat a lot of eggs in the morning.
You laugh like that's a stupid question.
I didn't.
You did.
I mean,
Guy Fieri is famous for hating eggs. Yeah.
he's famous for being a bit of a douche, is what he's famous
Oh
for.
well, I guess we're not going to have Guy Fieri on the show anytime
That's
soon.
all right.
Matter of fact,
You
Guy.
might like that.
Anthony
might like the
Bourdain was,
antagonism.
yeah, Bourdain was not a massive fan, and
Of who? Guy?
yeah,
That's disappointing.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe you.
okay.
Yeah. Okay,
So eggs.
Eggs.
Rob.
I'm looking.
You know what? The thing is, Rob has the convenience of sitting over there asking me to basically rattle off and talk to the guests.
Right.
So that you ever seen the two grumpy guys in the Muppets
Yeah, of
that are
course.
sitting up?
Waldorf and Stadler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stadler was the one that had a little bit more of the commentary, a little bit more of the sense, and Waldorf just chimed in. Yeah. Hey, Waldorf, how's it going?
It's the classic, funny guy and sidekick. That's what this is.
So funny guy and sidekick is basically what it was.
Hype man.
Do you know,
Hype man.
the crazy part? His own wife doesn't even believe that. She won't even lie to him and tell him that's true.
We're not giving anybody anything of value right yet. Not yet.
Have we at all
I mean,
in any podcast?
some of them. All right.
Dig deep, boys.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
go back to you
Yeah.
and how badly you messed up when you thought you knew what Nick's book was about.
Well, that's what I was just about to say.
Let's talk about that. What did you think it was about?
I thought based on some of the content that he put out that the book was about mushrooms.
It's like a field guide to mushrooms.
Maybe.
You got like every conceivable thing about that book wrong. The
I
genre,
did. I did.
the subject matter.
Yes.
So now this will be quite funny when we ask Nick, what's your book about, Nick?
It is not about mushrooms.
Son of
However,
a-
there was a chapter about mushrooms that got dropped from it.
Oh.
With that said,
Okay.
but no, it is.
There you go.
I describe it as an autobiographical apocalyptic fiction novel.
Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic.
All right.
Does Rob die in the beginning?
He could be construed as one of the angels, most certainly. I could see that.
Angel, you
I
see.
could see that.
Does the book have a location setting? Obviously.
It's a fairly mythical setting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real place that is mythologized throughout the novel.
Okay.
It's a drunken bartender's romp through a city that could be any city, could be all cities, could be no cities. It's ambiguous in that way, but it's specific also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
And what's the title of the book?
So the book is called Wormwood. So interesting fact.
Hang on.
What was that?
No, let's do the interesting
What was
fact.
the hand?
He thinks wormwood is a mushroom or something. That's what it is. I mean, that's what this is. It's not a mushroom.
I think it's maybe psychedelic. I think that's what he's
Yes.
getting at. Psychedelic.
No, he's not. Don't let it
Yeah,
off
go
the
ahead.
hook.
Yeah.
The hand.
It's not a mushroom at all. You know what they make with wormwood?
No.
Oh.
Neither do you.
Lots,
You just
lots of things.
The,
Yeah.
the green fairy.
The green fairy, absinthe,
Right.
and then also
Absinthe.
vermouth.
Oh.
So vermouth.
Ooh.
The word vermouth is just kind of a German permutation of the word wormwood. So legally, it
So
has to have wormwood in
psychedelic.
it. Yeah, ish.
That's it. I mean, that's the biggest stretch you've made in all 10 or whatever episodes we've done. Let's go back. So drunken bartender romping through a city. I mean, obviously we don't want you to give too much away, but
No, the main crux of the story is that in the Book of Revelations, the angel that poisons the water is named Wormwood.
Okay.
So I took this as a foil to make a drunken street preacher drinking a bottle of vermouth, talking about the end of days. Says the end of days are coming, all thanks to the star Wormwood. The drunken bartender says, "Hey, can I get a swig of that bottle?" And he says, "Hey, are you sure that's the swill you want? You sure? I was saying end of days. Are you sure that's something that you want?" And so he takes a little sip, and from that point forward, everyone, including this drunken preacher, manifests as either an angel or demon. And so he'll eat a food, he'll drink a drink, and they manifest as essentially a divine incarnation of something to do with this end of days that he's experiencing.
Oh. So is that what was the Constantine? The movie Constantine?
Maybe.
With Keanu Reeves? Did you see it?
No remembrance of
Comic
it.
book character, Mr. Comic Book.
yeah, I've heard of it. No,
That's when he has no idea. He has no freaking idea.
Exasperated by your brain sometimes, that's all.
Constantine, he basically is battling the dark side of the world, demons and hell and everything else. And he can see what other people can't. So he knows when somebody, the demons that are walking among us, if you will. Look, why do you try to look at me like that? I'm telling you, that sounds
accurate.
It sounds interesting,
The
is what it sounds
difference-
like. It sounds really interesting. It sounds like a great book.
Wormwood sounds much better.
Did you bring the book? Is that what's in the box?
Let's have a look.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Where's the put it
Ooh. He didn't go cheap.
oh. Well,
It's nice.
look at him.
Hold on.
He's a man of style and substance. He doesn't
Yeah,
do
there we go.
cheap.
It's cute. I went for cute for sure.
Okay, can I read the back part here?
You can, please.
Apocalypse
Please.
is
Can
bound.
you? Oh. Don't mess it up now. It'll be really
Well,
bad.
yeah.
for you.
I'm looking at this creature on the back of it too. It's freaking me out a little bit.
Roly-poly.
Apocalypse is bound to be dark, heavy, and bitter. But what about light, airy, and sweet? Angels, demons, and nibbles galore star in Andy's very own End of Days. An Armageddon like no other, brimming with trauma, coping, and divine revelation, told through the wildly lucid lens of yummies for the tummy.
Well done. No, really well done.
Now,
No,
hold on a
no,
second.
No, let's take a moment. I really didn't think you'd get through that. Good job. Carry on.
I love that. You could be my spokesperson for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Your baritone is just
I want to
right
go
for
back.
it.
I want to go back to the fact that somehow, some way, I feel like I'd heard that before,
I appreciate that.
and that sounds very. I'm defending my mushrooms theory. Is basically what I'm doing.
Can I feel
The book's amazing. It's so. How many pages?
300-ish.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
How many books have you read, Rob, in the last decade?
Honestly, you don't want to go down this road.
Are you doing a digital version too, or just the hardback?
There's a digital version.
Okay. Do you read for it?
An audiobook version?
Yeah.
There's not an audiobook
Okay.
at this point.
There's a
I
digital
do like the
copy, so I
idea
can get
of
it like the Amazon. Flip it on.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But yeah, no, I would love to narrate it. So it's a very character-driven thing. It's essentially a book of short stories with held together loosely by this plot. But there's really goofy characters, and I think they lend themselves well to goofy personification.
Well,
I like it.
if you do want to do an audio book,
You know a guy?
we know a guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
So well, let me ask you a question. So when did you start? When did you start the book, or when did the idea for the book come?
So, not to get in the weeds too much.
Yeah.
I had a little medical mishap last year.
Okay.
And I wasn't walking for about 4 weeks.
Oh no.
Taking some pain pills. Not saying that was explicitly where it came from, but that mixed with other coping mechanisms, if
Sure.
you will, kind of lent itself to trying to process the trauma of all of it while also, making light of it and having a goofy story to tell and doing something with food that I always wanted to do. Like I write a lot. I cook a lot. I've worked in the food industry for 21 years at this point. Like it was an inevitability. I never would have guessed that it would take this shape.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that there's inspiration. You missed the earlier episode, so I appreciate the fact that you're tiptoeing around the fact. We found out that everybody else in the room had somewhat of a criminalistic background except for Rob.
I've had my brushes with the Lord.
Oh, now he's changing it. The other day he said the worst thing he'd ever done when he was a kid was play football. So
No,
that was we can back it up. I think I can go find it somewhere.
Don't touch the computer.
Oh, I have something else I want to bring up. We'll wait until the halftime break.
All
but
right.
Yeah. Don't touch the computer.
Don't touch anything, though.
All right. We're done. Yeah.
You've been known to mess stuff up.
So we're continuing on through the list. We're going to come back to the book, though.
Please.
Mixologist as well.
Mixologist.
Definitely.
Certainly.
I mean, that's how that's how we met. And I think that's,
I would say most people in town certainly know me in that capacity.
right. When you were obviously leading the program and doing everything down at Storm King.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We had Dave on recently, but that's how I first met you. And I think a lot of our mutual friends know you
absolutely
from there. But that was, when did you leave? How long ago?
It was over 2 years ago at this point. It was 2.5 years ago at this point.
And you've bopped around a little bit.
Bopped around a little bit.
Someone.
Yep, I was building a kitchen and did the whole bar program for them. But the surgery, the medical mishap that ended up happening, caused me to part ways with them, and so kind of been tiptoeing since then. I'm down at Le New de Bois doing wine at this point, working with Lee and them. But besides that, I've been kind of tiptoeing back into the more creative aspects of the job, just due to wanting to kind of appreciate time with the family and stuff. Like I want to do something fun and ambitious and all that, but I'm also like, I like this pace.
Yep.
It's nice.
Well, we're in a good spot for it, right?
Absolutely.
Montrose. I mean, you don't have the option to be a super sort of high flying executive here, which is what I like. I don't want to do that. Not that I could particularly.
Rob wants the lottery winning lifestyle. He wants the one quick opportunity that makes him wealthy, and then
I mean,
yeah.
Do you not want that?
I would rather do what Nick's doing. I would rather write a book, have it become this massive big seller, turn into a movie.
Yeah.
Have to work and create another episode or an extension of it,
and have lots of money in the bank if you won the lottery. I mean, I'm not.
Can I offer an anecdote real quick?
Oh yeah.
Lotto.
You've got to jump in.
I've got a good lotto.
Okay.
So I mentioned I worked at a feed store. One day, the owner comes into me and says, "Nickolas, what do you think of the idea of getting a lotto machine?" I said, "Pete, that's damn weird. I think that's a weird thing to say to me at a feed store where we sell chicken food." He's like, "What if I told you that I could guarantee we could get a few $1,000s in ticket sales a week?" I'm like, that's also weird. He says, "I know a guy who says he'll buy a few hundred to a few thousand lotto tickets a week.
Oh,
pay cash." And I said, "Okay." He's like, "I'll cut you in 50% of what I get, so you get a penny. You get 1 penny per ticket as the wholesaler. So half a cent per ticket. But if it could be extremely lucrative."
Yeah.
Lo and behold, this guy starts buying tickets, and first week it's $800-900 paying in cash. Wow, right? All of a sudden, probably a few months in, $10,000.
Whoa.
$15,000. An insane amount of money. Topped out. I want to say close to $50,000. And so it's a feed store. So as I was saying, slow, a rural pace to the place, most certainly. So I would spend my days taking these, the little printout things and $20 ones at a time. Just go nonstop for hours, just dropping these $20 ones through to print out the tickets. A bunch of legal things ended up happening. Talk to some feds, all that. But that's not even the moral of the story. That's kind of the funny, entertaining part of the story. Right. The moral of the story is the time that he did about $50,000, he won one $500 ticket. And then the highest ticket that he got was like a $20 win.
Wow.
He was easily making about 3 to 7% tops, not profit, just back.
Yeah.
It was a complete nightmare.
I mean, it's a scam.
My statistical mind was blown because I always, you understand the scam, but until you see it, until you do that many tickets and nothing happens, because through the machine, because it's these big electronic screens, they tell you when stuff wins, and I'm like, this is the one. I ran so many tickets, and then nothing comes of it. Nothing comes of it.
Insane.
So please don't buy lotto tickets.
No, it's a big scam, basically. Occasionally you'll elevate one person.
So the Colorado Lottery is not about to sponsor the episodes.
Not anymore.
They might give me. They might give me a phone call.
I tell you what, though. I tell you what. This is the reason that we do this show, because between
to alienate advertisers.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, that's a whole nother story. We should talk about that in a second. But the idea that WKRP. Do you know what WKRP stands for?
I don't.
It stands for We Know Real People. So but WKRP, I'm not even going to let you do it.
No, that's what we call a backronym.
A backronym.
Yeah. So we came up with the acronym existed, and then we made it up. We reverse engineered it.
Yes.
What was the acronym, or was it just a radio handle?
Well, the WKRP used to be a show on television in the early 80s, WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yes, I remember now.
Okay. And so
I knew it sounded familiar.
But the television show was basically a comedy about people that didn't know how to run a radio station running a radio station.
Nice.
The lunatics are running the asylum.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought, we're lunatics.
We can be lunatics.
Yeah.
We can not run a radio station properly.
Absolutely.
But we wanted to do a show specifically about some of the cool people that we know and meet in Montrose, or the people that come through.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we have had some amazing stories that have come through the door.
I love that it's like real world people pieces too, because it reminds me of like those, photographs of just regular people in New York and like just the little blurbs under. Like I love
like
those.
Was it like Humans of New York?
Exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah. Just profiling real people.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that being said, is there going to be a sequel to the book? Did you leave it open without giving away the ending? Did you leave it open in your mind? Let me just
read the last page.
Whatever you do, don't do that. All right.
I like the character.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Okay.
All right.
He is me and I am he.
Oh.
And so I leave it open for him. I think that it is, like I said, it is a story about a particular trauma, and it was built for that intent and purpose. And so whether, like, I like the format. I admittedly have some significant ADHD in my life. My ability to focus, as you say, I have many hats, and that is a concerted choice. Like that is absolutely through effort that I don't stick with a role.
It's out of necessity.
I like dabbling, even within something like food that I've done for 21 plus years. Yeah. Like I try not to stay in one place, and I try to diversify within it, right? Like sourdough baking, Afghani restaurant, Belgian restaurant, high-end Italian,
right?
Dirty fry shop. Like I appreciate the broad spectrum, and like I will do it all because it all serves me in the end. So within writing and creativity too, it's like I can't stand in one place.
Well, allow it. Why do you think we do this? Right. Neither of us want to have real jobs that are 9 to 5.
Yep.
I couldn't do it.
Dude, this is a real job to put up with you for just to do the episode.
But the point is, I've done it. I used to work at a casino, shirt and tie. I had a big desk. It was huge. And I was bored after like day 3, I think.
You know what they say about a guy with a big desk?
Small pencils.
He's got a lot of work.
Yeah, I didn't actually. I didn't. That's why I was bored. I'll tell you a quick story that was really funny. So I used to work for the Venetian casino, but the Chinese one.
Okay.
Same company. No, listen.
So
sorry. When you approach the Venetian casino, right, you go in the main doors. There's a big balcony above the doors.
Yeah.
My office opened onto that balcony, and I would just spend my lunch hour just stood on this balcony. You know,
People watching.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But it was boring, and I hated the job. And I don't think I've had a real job since, in terms of like 9 to 5, go in, clock out. I can't do it. It kills me. And you must be the same.
Oh, I can't. Yeah.
You're a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
Nick, we've already discussed. You are now a novelist. You're a mixologist. You're a cook, chef, everything. I mean, I think we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Question.
Please.
Back to your mixology.
Okay.
Favorite drink that either you've created or that you've made for people.
So I think that there is a drink that is transformative for people because they don't know what to expect. And that's a daiquiri, a regular
Daiquiri.
Plain old daiquiri, because people anticipate something real terrible.
Right.
Cool. A daiquiri is misunderstood because people use crappy ingredients, but the first time you make someone a proper daiquiri and you use good rum and you use fresh lime and you use sugar and you chill the glass, it changes everything. Like you can watch that moment of realization. It's like, you know how the people that are all in for margaritas.
Yeah,
You know, you drank margaritas for 30 years, but like they suddenly realize they're like, oh my God, margaritas.
Right.
It can have that same momentum, because people are just like, oh, like strawberry frozen sweet bomb. No. So I I love making really fancy stuff like mushroom infusions and like that's all super fun to me. But for me, what's better is to take someone's preconceived notion and flip it on its head. They know what they're getting, and then when they get it, they're like, whoa, like
they recognize what you're about to serve them.
Absolutely.
But they don't know what they're about to get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think, like you said, the margarita is the best one to convey that idea, right?
Right.
Everyone's had crappy margaritas from a big tank in a happy hour at a Mexican place, and they're rubbish.
Exactly.
And then you have a really good one made well, and you're like, it's the same in name only kind of thing.
Yeah, and I grew up in the 90s, which I'll call the age of Red Lobster, where I imagine.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Is it still the 90s in Grand Junction then?
Well, they just closed the Red Lobsters. All of them.
They're all gone. Yeah, that's right.
But
good
I always associate like bad daiquiris, mainly because I was getting virgin ones. I was getting virgin strawberry daiquiris at Red Lobster.
Even the idea though of a daiquiri and seafood
doesn't sound appetizing.
That doesn't sound good.
Right, but
sloshing around in your stomach.
As soon as you like flip that context and think you're having conch and like a real daiquiri, you're like, oh yeah. Suddenly, yeah.
I can't remember. We went to the Cayman Islands this last year, and I want to say it was either daiquiris or pina colada. I think it was a pina colada. I had to burp there. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Punctuation.
Yeah. So, but I don't like either of those. But we went to a place, and it was a seafood place, and they're like, we have the best. I'm pretty sure it was pina coladas. They're the best pina coladas you've ever had. And I'm like, well, I don't like pina coladas. And she was like, I don't care. The waitress was like, I don't care. You're going to get one. And I was like, okay, fine. It changed. It was, and I think because we were having conch, actually, what you were saying, like it was that pairing too, of those two things that were like, I didn't think went together. And thought of like a pina colada as like way too sweet and, whatever. It was super good. And I ended up having a second and a third, not a second or third order of the conch. And so,
Why, not a fan?
No, the food was great. It's just the pina colada was better.
One order of conch did not fill you up.
I mean, it might have.
No.
Why are you trying? Don't make the fat jokes.
Ridiculous.
Anyway,
he's just a bigger bone gentleman. That's all.
Favorite place to hang out here in Montrose?
Yeah, this is something we always do. We'll get onto in a minute how your origin story. But also, we always like to ask people, like, what do you do here when you're not foraging and cooking? Like, how do you enjoy Montrose? And, of course, the idea is to give people some ideas to, who might not know the things that you do.
Totally. I think my favorite place to hang out, it's hard. I love coffee. I love good coffee. I love sipping espresso and cappuccinos. Like that's a lifestyle for me. It's absolutely a lifestyle choice. I like Blue Corn and Cimarron for two completely different reasons. If I want to be social, if I want to see people, if I want to say hi, if I want to have a nice pastry, I'll go to Blue Corn, and it's lovely. Watch people dip the wax candles.
Yeah,
like it's like it's a fully sensory experience. Cimarron is just, the coffee's phenomenal. It's quaint. It's quiet. I can chill. It feels like a place and it is a place that I sit and I drink espresso and sit on the computer or read a book and have what I consider the quintessential cafe experience. Like that's my cafe. Blue Corn is my, hey guys, cafe.
So I'm always in there. By the way, I would love to get Eric on this podcast, but he'll never come on the podcast.
Especially he's in Fruta now.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's right. He moved.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, but it's not a bummer. He moved for a good reason. But at the same time, I would love to have him on here. And I'm super grateful that we have Cimarron. They have a chessboard at Cimarron.
They do.
And I recently just found out that they're trying to get like chess games going at the Cimarron.
Like they do, like you see on social media of like those hustlers in Central Park.
Yeah, I really feel like that's what they're trying to do. Like some speed games, like trying to happen in the morning.
I see if we can find a prodigy here in Montrose.
I'm sure they're here.
And so Nicole and I have the same experience at Cimarron. We go to Cimarron because that is my more preferred coffee. Right. I do like everything that Eric roasts is amazing. But two, because usually that was the quiet kind of cafe. Catch up with whoever's behind the bar, the barista there. Yeah. But now, if you're not there early in the morning,
secret's out.
The secret has gotten out. I would tell you that right now. And then the other thing that I 100% agree with, if you're there early in the morning at Blue Corn, it can be a little quieter early.
Exactly.
And I have found myself like tranced out by the dipping of the candles. I don't know why. It's like I found yourself drooling on myself just staring.
Yeah, it's like that show How It's Made, right?
Yeah,
live.
Yeah, right there behind the glass wall.
Yeah, you can watch it live. That's great. It is trance inducing, I think.
What do you? So I'm going to share an idea that Nicole. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't. Well, I already did. I started to say. Well, because I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Okay.
What do you think about a boba cat cafe?
I love cheese ball like thematic things. Period. Rob knows this about me. I am all in for all things thematic. I think that we need more harebrained sort of ideas in the world, and that's what people. I don't think you have to stick with that. But as a moment in time, even if it's 2 years, like it's a beautiful thing. And there's a place in Colorado Springs. I don't know if it still exists anymore. It was actually, I saw it before I ever saw the cat cafe. It was a bird cafe. And so you could have a macaw sitting on your shoulder while you're drinking coffee. And it was like, what a magical thing.
Yeah.
Like what an easy sell for me being like, oh, you say you have a parakeet that I can have on my finger as I'm sipping a latte? Like, okay.
I mean, like you said, almost certainly destined not to stand the test of time.
Totally. But as a moment in time.
Go into it knowing that this thing is going to last 2 years, maybe.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the idea behind the cat cafe is that you have, similar to Blue Corn, you have like a glass wall, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your boba tea side.
Right.
And on the other side, people can, if they want to, go in there with their boba or whatever. But you have all the cats. Like Second Chance has cats.
Totally.
Well, so like I was in Chowder.
I know you're a cat guy.
The other day.
Yeah.
And they have a little enclosure with kittens.
Yeah.
From Second Chance.
Yeah.
But as you're wandering around buying, it's ridiculous the amount of stuff they have.
Yes.
I saw these like joints made from catnip. I'm not even sure how the cat is supposed to smoke them.
Is it really in the shape of a...
They were in the shape of a joint, but they were catnip for cats. But as you walk around, you can just like look through the window and watch these kittens running around and playing.
Yeah.
That as an idea, as opposed to like, just having cats roaming
just
everywhere.
Pumping smoke into
Well, no, I mean, the idea is that they have, like, you build a whole playland for the cats
right.
in that room so that they can be out and running around.
And I a little picture a kind of Tokyo scenario where all the
all the baristas
and
they have cat ears.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, why not?
Wrapping around little balls.
Right.
Yep.
I would, yeah, in a
Okay.
heartbeat. I would go there,
All right.
drink coffee, and just look through a glass.
970-316-3162. Do you like the Cat Cafe? Do you like the Parakeet in tea time location? What is a weird business idea or great business idea that you think should be in Montrose? 970-316-3162. We want to hear from you. We're coming towards the end of the show.
We are coming towards the end, but I want to briefly ask Nick about his speaking. Circling full back to the comic book thing.
Yeah, say what you're trying to say.
About your origin story, douche.
Yes, please.
Everyone we've had on here, I think, apart from one person, is from somewhere else.
Yes.
And it's always interesting the path that people take to get here.
Totally.
Tell us about your path to Montrose.
Okay. I'll start a long time ago.
A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far
Absolutely. I am from Denver.
Originally?
Grew up north of the city. Yep.
Okay.
Originally, me and my wife met there. Me and my wife have been together for 14 years in a couple weeks.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And right, I had met her. We weren't together at any point. And I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. My grandma had a brain aneurysm and forgot who I was. And I, needless to say, did not take it well. Nervous breakdown, was not coping well, to speak to your illegal activities and such. Like I was spiraling in a real way being in Denver. And so I left. Nicole, my wife, gave me a ride to the border of Colorado and New Mexico and dropped me off just outside of Trinidad. Said she would come to me someday. And I was like, cool, later. And she dropped me off with my bicycle. And I left on my bicycle and I rode across New Mexico and Arizona and California and ended up on a farm, which actually was, to come circle to where I am now, it was actually, we grew grapes there. Grew other things too, because it was Northern California. But we grew grapes. And so that kind of started me on this path of pursuing farms, farm to table, all these sorts of things. And so that was 14 years ago now that I had this kind of transformational moment of being forced to flee my homeland and kind of ending up in a world completely foreign to what I had been used to and such. And it just kind of started me on this path. And so it was kind of the sequential thing of working on farms and ending up in new places. And once me and Nicole, she came and found me in California, despite the fact that I was like, yeah, sure, you'll come see me. And she did. She came out into the middle of nowhere in California. She hitchhiked. That badass woman hitchhiked with her dog out to find me. And
wow.
So she and I traveled, and we kind of followed our own little path, just meandering. And so we just traveled from place to place, working on farms, working in greenhouses and stuff like that. And eventually ended up in Crested Butte doing that sort of thing. And this was our supply run. It was our culture when we lived up in CB. We'd have to come to Montrose and get stuff, and so this was kind of our end point. And we were like, it's kind of cool there. And years later down the line, it was probably about 6 years after that, we considered moving to this area, and so we ended up getting a place up in Cedar Edge, and then ended up getting a place down here. And it was just these baby steps that were following a clear trajectory. It was very clear what we were doing and where we were going. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was this kind of slow meandering, following the harvest. I felt like a migrant laborer in a very real way, in that we were following these kind of moments, seasonality and year to year, and kind of.
So Cedar Edge is it almost feels like it goes back in time a little bit, but it's also
very much
changing a lot.
Very much so.
Recently, yeah. I feel like there's a lot of things going on.
Were it like it is now, when we were up there, I don't know if we would have left, because it's changing so much, and so much stuff the ball is rolling up there. We knew we were on the cusp. I was actually thinking about opening a bar up there. Where there's a place called Sips up there now. Mm-hmm. We actually thought about taking over that spot and doing a bar there, but we thought we were just ahead. We were just ahead of their timing was just right. They were 2 years after we thought about doing it, and so they've sort of. Yeah, but I do believe that we would have stayed and maybe would have pursued something there where things fast forwarded a couple of years.
But this was
already fast forwarded. It was
WKRP Montrose was your destiny.
It was already there. I didn't have to fast forward the town at all. It was where I needed it to be.
Right.
Well, I've been dying to ask this question of a guest because I heard it somewhere else, and I thought that's such a cool question. what's something that people don't do anymore that they should do? Or what is something that used to exist?
Be quiet. I mean,
really?
I mean that in like a respectful way, of course.
You are speaking to the two wrong people. I can tell you that.
I did it. He just punched me in the gut with that. I was like,
we're loud anyway.
Yeah,
we
okay.
thought
do
more
what you
people
want.
needed to hear us.
You can do what you want, and I'm not saying that.
No, but I agree. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's nice to
and
be,
and even just like for yourself at night, turn the phone off. And because I think we all tangibly feel that discomfort when we're alone and we're quiet and we're not doing like that lack of busyness really irks all of us.
Right.
We feel it like visceral.
Well, it's
when
this, right?
something's
It's
not happening.
no,
Totally.
didn't
And
get a
so
notification.
allowing ourselves to just not pick up the book, and just even if it's 5 minutes, like, wow, is that like transformative? And just it's
Okay. So have you heard about this? This, I don't even know if it's real, honestly. There's a room that is so quiet
Deprivation.
that if you stay in it for like 24 hours, you win $1 million or something. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about that.
It's I don't understand
so much
the whole
deprivation that
concept.
it freaks people out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could you do it?
I think I could. And I did a 11-day silent meditation retreat at one point. And the reason I think that that's so hard for people is that's a psychedelic experience, like deprivation and all that, like that. During the silent meditation retreat, there was this moment. Everyone had been quiet. It was a room of 25 people. Everyone had been quiet for 4 hours at this point. And all of a sudden, my eyes are closed, and I saw this psychedelic array of lights that looked like, imagine a harp of really loose strings, all different colors, getting hit really hard. I saw that. Split second later, some guy sneezed, and it was and you could feel everyone just freak out. Everyone's like, you could just feel everyone tense, but like it was like your
brain knew it was coming.
The tension in the room was so palpable that you just knew it was coming, and like it's that extreme. And so to be in a room like that without any other sensory, you can hear people breathing. That's not sensory deprivation. With nothing to say nothing, like suddenly you're like, did I hear a sound? Am I hearing my own? It's.
See, you put that in a very mature way. I speak for me and probably him, where it would be like school. I would be doing this. I'd be going, is anyone else looking? And then I would laugh after like 20 minutes, probably thinking, I can't do this.
My biggest problem with the silent retreats.
You'd fart, I'm sure.
Well,
or
it
some
just
noise
it just
would come
depends.
from your body.
No, I wouldn't be. I have more respect for other people. If I'm in that
hang on a
scenario,
minute. You burped on this very podcast.
I did not burp. I burped like inward burp. I held it in.
Danger.
Yeah, I took my own health at risk to make sure that I didn't interfere with everybody else. The thing I was going to say is silent retreats. The thing that really scares me about that is when I do try to have quiet time, and I have from time to time, I usually lose the conversations with myself in my head.
Right, because you're not used to having them.
Right,
so
and so I don't like what goes on there, and I end up losing it.
You lose them in real life with me and presumably your wife.
Right.
And even when you're really quiet,
and I'm by myself,
your own brain goes, "No, shut up, you idiot."
Yes, that's pretty much what it does. Thanks, Nick, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
The book is Wormwood.
Yeah, the book is Wormwood, yep.
And you can get it on Amazon?
You can get it on Amazon. I would prefer if you didn't.
Okay. This is great. Tell us how to get it.
So you can get it through Barnes & Noble. If you search my name in Wormwood, so Nickolaus Paullus, and the name Wormwood, you can find 20-something digital purveyors that are not Amazon.
Okay.
If you're local, reach out to me. Most of you know me. I have copies on me, and I would love to give them in person, and I'll tag them up for you and that sort of thing.
Is there anywhere in town you can buy physical copies?
They're going to be in Curiouser, the bookstore inside Mauve. They'll be there in the next couple days, actually. And then they're also in the bookstore, the new old bookstore in Ouray Bookstore.
Okay.
Ouray Bookstore.
So the bookstore inside Mauve.
Correct.
Say the name again?
Curiouser. Curiouser.
Super cool about them, right? When you buy a book, they donate to a charity, and you can pick the charity.
Yep. And
Is that correct?
I believe that's what they're used books. It could be
Okay.
both, but so essentially when you donate used books to the store, you get to choose which
Okay, that's what it is.
nonprofit it goes to. So if someone buys that book that you donated, then they contribute to that nonprofit.
That's a great
It's
idea.
beautiful place. Yeah.
Very cool.
Super cool.
Thanks so much for being on the show, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Check out the book Wormwood. Or you can call 970-316-3162. We'll help you get in touch with Nick to get a book as well. Rob, is there anything else that you have that's intelligent to say before we let Nick go? And
I just discovered a website that tells you if the dog dies in a movie.
is that true?
Yeah. So if you're an animal lover, you look at this website. Does the dog die? Yes. I'm not watching it then.
Okay. There you go.
Not related to anything we just
Are you going
said
to tell people what the website is?
I don't know. It's called Does the Dog Die? I think .com.
I would assume. If they had any business acumen, that's what they need.
Thank you to Pomona for the drinks today. Thank you for all of you for listening. Don't forget, you can go to WKRPmontrose.com. You can sign up. We've got some gifts to give away. We actually just got our cabinet filled up with some stuff to give away.
We're going to have something else to give away too.
Oh, we'll buy a book.
We're going to purchase some copies.
That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do.
We'll give them away too.
Look at you. That's a great idea.
I know.
Great idea.
Sometimes
You keep them around for a
not
reason.
not all the times, but sometimes. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.